Okay, gang, time for my episode on single leg squats. Now, I'm no expert in this sort of thing. In fact, my history with pistols and single leg squats is actually not all that pretty. I was one of the fools out there who thought I knew what I was doing, and I thought I had the single leg squat down solid and pat. I could do like 10 of them, like 15 at a time. Problem is, I could only do it while standing on a box, elevated, and I had quite a bit of wobbling going on. And after a couple of years of this, I developed knee pain, and I literally had to start my squat progressions all over from scratch and build back up. So I'm getting there, but I've learned a few things along the way, and I want to share them with you here. Number one, master the single, or not the single, but the closed squat, where your feet are together, your knees are together, you squat down as low as you can, and then back up. This is the foundation to strong legs in general, especially with the single leg squat, because it requires your knees to be in front of you, so you have to learn that all-important hamstring and glute activation for the, quote, seat of power, like I like to call it. So you have to get that down real nice and solid. Number two, your foot is the canary in the coal mine with all this sort of squatting thing. So when your foot is on the floor, there should be no shifting to the front, no shifting to the back, no rotating, nothing. Like stand stock still, look at your feet, and that's how your feet should look and feel throughout the entire squat. No movement, no shift, not even a tiny itty bitty little insig bit. No movement at all. Your weight should be dead center in the middle, not on the heel, because you're pulling your heel into the floor with your hamstrings and glutes, like I talked about in the past video. But you do want some weight on your toes, absolutely. You don't want it all on your heel. You lose a lot of balance that way. Second, like I mentioned in the previous video, get your hamstrings on. Most of your balance and knee tracking comes from your hamstrings and glutes. So if they're not really turning on enough, which they're usually not turning on enough for almost everybody these days because we're sitting so much, then you're losing your balance there. Okay? Same with the hamstrings, calves. Make sure your calves are on and tight. You should feel your calves working significantly with all of your leg training, especially your squats. The meat and potatoes of progressing that I've used is upper body assist. I've been hanging on to things largely because squats, the single leg squat, uses a mix of strength, balance, coordination, all sorts of characteristics. When you hang on to something with your upper body, you can have your upper body take on some of the load for all of these sorts of characteristics. And you can adjust by how much your upper body's working versus how much your legs are working. Now, I don't recommend doing them off of a suspension trainer because even though that can be good for getting kind of the idea down, it's still too wobbly. There's still too much movement that you can do. And I see people every day, they do single leg squats on suspension trainers and their hips are jogging up to the side and they're twisting and shifting and torquing and their backs are doing this. It's ugly, 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 and you're not learning anything with that. When you do a single leg squat, it should ideally look carbon copy to a regular two-legged squat, except just one leg is on your center line and the other one is sticking out. Okay? If you don't do this, or twist, or shift, or reach out way forward with your two-legged squat, you shouldn't be doing it with a single leg, two-legged to single leg. So that's your ultimate goal. But it's very hard to learn to do this. Plus, the anchor point with a suspension trainer is so high that you can much more easily pull yourself up and your leg isn't doing that much. So I recommend grab onto something stable, solid. Smith machine bars are good for this. Park benches, just posts. Regular old posts are fantastic because the lower your hands go, the harder it is. And you can always just simply adjust the tension by how much is on your upper body versus how much is on your leg. You're looking to eliminate balance issues, twisting, torquing, shifting, leaning, no moving forward. Okay, and that's the final thing today is lots of people do these exercises and they're all like, look, I got it. Like they're really rounded forward, they're reaching outwards and everything. Weight forward in the single leg squat makes it easier. Not terribly bad, but also puts your back under a lot more stress. And you see this where people hold a plate out or kettlebells way out in front of them. It's not terrible, and it can make learning the exercise a little easier, but ultimately what you're looking for is to progress away from using your arms for assistance And that includes keeping your arms out in front of you, even if you're not holding onto anything. As you get stronger, move your hands back and then hands across the chest. If you can do single leg squats with your hands on your chest or even behind your head, you got some pretty damn strong legs. In the interest of adding weight, I don't recommend doing this sort of thing. I did that. That was one of the reasons why I hurt my knees. When you are looking to add weight, keep your hands moving back. And once you're here, hug a plate to your chest, wrap a chain around your neck, not strangling yourself, of course, weight vest. You'll be amazed. I mean, there are guys out there, I did this too. It's like 30-pound kettlebell. Yeah, I got single leg squats. 5-pound chain slung over my neck. Couldn't do a single one. So the weight should be as close to your center of gravity in your torso as possible if you're into the weighted versions as well. And stay off the steps. Don't make the mistake I did and think, well, I just lack the flexibility or whatever. You lack the flexibility means you lack the control. You lack the control means you lack the strength, and you don't have no business doing an exercise that you have lack of strength and control on, because that's how you end up hurting yourself. All right, folks, good luck with your training. Be fit, live free. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate you hitting that like button down below. Please subscribe to my channel. New content coming out every day. And if you have questions or anything you want me to address, just drop it down in the comments section down below, and I'll probably get to it in the next week or two. Thanks for watching.